Welcome everybody to Dharma Punx Seattle. This week we have made it to yet another parami of the 10 perfections. This week we'll be talking about patience. Much like I feel like energy, last week we talked about being this aspect of practice that's really important but not really often talked about in the suttas, or I personally don't hear people talking about it all that much. It being, I feel like I say this all the time, it being the critical component of practice. And so what does patience mean in context to practice? There's a couple of quotes that are from the Dhammapada, where the Buddha talks about patience. The first one I've said in here a couple of times before. I think it's metal as fuck. Patient endurance is the incinerator of defilement. That one's just chef's kiss. That one tickles my heart. What does this mean? Patient endurance. So being able to sit through the difficulties of our mind, the incinerator of defilement. Absolutely getting rid of the things in our minds, in our bodies, the things that we've picked up over the years that have plagued us. And, you know, I think that it can be interesting because it's not compassion is the incinerator of defilement, wisdom, the incinerator of defilement, but patience. And I find that to be a really useful skill to develop in my own personal practice, because the metric that Buddhism is asking for in a big way is total freedom. Absolute 100% fucking freedom from suffering. And that's a high it's a high bar. That's a really fucking high bar. And it's not going to happen overnight or in a week or a year. And so developing the sense of patience that despite what we hear in the teachings, despite those ahead of us on the path and us aspiring toward becoming more like them, to be encountering this level of freedom and maybe not totally having it ourselves yet. Requires patience. And in that, I think it allows, in my own practice, some space to freedom right now. Like maybe I can't totally never let resentment rise up in my mind, in my heart. Maybe I can't totally let go of, you know, what my stepdad did when I was a kid. But maybe I can at least be patient with the fact that I can't do that yet. And there's a loosening and an ease that can arise from that space. I think one of the difficult parts of this quote, patient endurance is the incinerator of defilement, is the endurance part. Because there's nothing in actually enduring about patience. And I'm not gonna, you know, should or shit on the Buddha, he's got some pretty good shit. But there's nothing enduring about patience. And that for me is a really important thing to continue to develop and bring up, because how much of my patience is, okay, I'm just gonna like get through this. And when everything is just so, then, okay. Is that true patience? Another quote from the Buddha is Khanti, which is the Pali term for patience. It's the peaceful coexistence with the unwished for, which I think can be a really lovely definition to patience. That there's no enduring with that. It's showing up and being with whatever the fuck we're experiencing, whatever the fuck is out there, whatever is going on in my heart, whatever is going on in my mind, that I can coexist with this, even if I don't want it. I don't wish for hatred. I don't wish for resentment. I don't wish for craving, the things that I know bring me pain. But bringing some level of like, okay, maybe I'm not ready to let go. And how that, even just that position of patience, I talk a lot about letting go being such a central aspect of this practice, right? And patience kind of allowing for some of that tension to resolve, that I don't have to have it happen right this second. And that's really hard. Like I said, I think so often in my own practice, especially in the beginning, it was really about imitating what I saw, imitating my teachers, imitating the people in front of me on the path, trying to imitate what I was reading in these books. And, if I could hold them up next to each other, I'm like, these things are, one thing is not like the other, right? And setting that more realistic expectation of that's okay. That's okay that it's not, perfect right now, that it's not where I want it to be, and that it's going to be someday. If I keep on this path, if I keep that level of vigilance going, if I maintain patience, because often if I, what is the inverse of patience? Impatience. If I'm impatient with myself, I'm more likely to give up. I'm more likely to give up and say, well, I don't know, this fucking Sangha thing, dealing with people, sucks. People suck. They consistently don't act the way I want them to. So I'm gonna give up. This meditation thing, really fucking hard. Don't want to do it. Right? And so bringing that patience into our practice. So today I'm going to read a quote for the reflection period, the discussion period, and just see what's true for you, bringing it into, if you want to bring in the personal aspect, invitation to do some of that as well. So the quote is, "Just hold on, and eventually things will get better. I'll get my way in the end if I'm patient enough." What's wrong with this quote? Okay, I'll read it again. There's something wrong with this quote. Discuss it. Discuss maybe how it applies. Just hold on. Eventually things will get better. I'll get my way in the end if I'm patient enough. Okay? And if you're tuning in via YouTube, you may meditate on this quote or journal. All right. There's an odd number, so figure it out. Threes and twos. Right. We'll transition into meditation for about 30 minutes. Finding a comfortable way to sit. It's upright. The erect spine being a force of remembering our energy, the energy that we're bringing into this practice. Its stillness, unwavering against the restlessness of the body and mind. Its uprightness against the forces that want to droop and sag and crumble. Taking a position of power. In this moment. Recognizing that all that has happened today and this week, maybe this month, sometimes gets jammed up in our body. And so just scanning from the top of the head, like a metal detector, looking for places of dis-ease, scanning through the body. Noting where there's tension. And also receiving, if there is any tension in the body, that is information. It's not just wrong to have tightness in the jaw, shoulders up to our ears, or constriction in the throat or belly. It's important information that we gather. So taking some time with your detector to slowly with a gentle energy sweep through the body. If you encounter this tension, maybe approaching it with some curiosity. What message do you have for me? What do you know that's not maybe conscious in my own mind? And maybe that message comes out loud and clear, and maybe it doesn't, and it's okay. You don't need to violently shake it until it gives you an answer. Just keep moving on. The body, if you're coming in today with the body at ease, you can settle into the breath. If they're probably like most of us, there to be some tension in the body, After approaching it with some curiosity, looking for its message, offering it some care. I care about you. This pain is worthy of honor, no matter how big or small. I care about you. This pain is worthy of honor, no matter how big or small. Continue repeating these phrases, or if something that resonates more with your mind, your heart, you can use those instead. The Buddha teaches that there's nothing wrong with pain. This is natural occurrence for the human experience. Inevitable. And while the Buddha also teaches impermanence of all things, that including pain, we don't get to know when, how, or why. And so we need to be patient with this human experience, lovingly, with care. Continuing to offer those caring phrases. I care about you. This pain is worthy of honor, no matter how big or small. Perhaps if the practice is feeling dry, or if there's a fleeting mind that doesn't want to settle, a tired mind that would just rather drift off into fantasy than engage mindfully. And just noting that. What would it look like to be patient with that energy. It doesn't matter what the mind is doing. We prefer it when it stills. But no matter whether the thoughts, like clouds, being pushed by a breeze through our consciousness, are moving rapidly, or if it feels like a dark night sky and we can't see anything. Patience creating a space. What does this space in between thought look like? What does it feel like? Often the tensions that come in our body are from the cause of thought. Worry, fear, anxiousness. holding, grasping. And so as these clouds of thought move through the mind, seeing what it feels like, what it looks like in between those spaces. Resisting the temptation to create elbow room in that space. Finding your breath, Welcome back, everybody. I was sort of arose during the meditation. Patience kind of feels like the only choice we have, or suffer. Like that there is that choice. As I do when I am preparing for these talks. I didn't get a chance to prepare for this one as much as I normally do, but I usually kind of bring it up throughout the week, see where it's happening in real time, and try to put some markers on it. And today I was doing my residency, and I have an impatience with like people, and I was recognizing how much patience and time are just so interconnected. Like, you cannot separate these two things in some ways. Like, regardless if it's like, I should be, at this point in my mental health because I have, done this many years of therapy, or this many years of recovery, or this or that. It's inevitably just interwoven with time. And that was sort of, as I was reflecting on it today, and there were so many little moments where I was just like getting all like tight because we were supposed to break at a certain time, and people kept asking questions and filtering in their comments on whatever, and I'm just like looking at the time. Wrap it the fuck up, guys. I'm getting impatient. I want the goodies downstairs. And it's such a interesting sort of paradigm to consider when it comes to patience, that the more that we can identify, like, what is our relationship and expectation around time in this scenario. If we're stuck in traffic and we're becoming impatient, I need to be on time. I gotta get there. They said 7. So it can just be a really, when I find myself in this space, when we find ourselves in this space, to maybe reflect on what is our expectation around time in this moment. Whether that's related to myself, whether that's related to other things, other people, maybe there's somebody in our life that we're growing impatient with. They should have it together by now. They should have it figured out. They're fucking, 70 years old. Like, you should know everything by now, or whatever. Ajahn Brahm, I was just going to try and quote the story directly, but because I've been in residency this week, I didn't actually have an opportunity to read the story, so I'm going to quote a quote. So in terms of patience, Ajahn Brahm, in several different talks I've heard him talk about this Leo Tolstoy short story, giving some qualities to what maybe patience might look like. And it's through this, I don't know the name of it, but it's this short story he wrote about an emperor who is looking for, just like, what is the best religion, essentially. Or he's more trying to make it up. He's like done with religion, and he's like, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna keep it short and simple. I have to answer these 3 questions. 3 questions. When is the best time? Who is the most important person? what is the best thing I can be doing? And so these are the three questions. And the way that Ajahn, well, first let's go through them. When is the best time? What do we think? Now. Yeah, that one's easy. Nailed it. That was how the story goes. That seems to kerplunk very easily with Buddhism. I don't think that needs much selling for most people, that the best time is not somewhere in the future. The best time is not somewhere in the past. Those people who are like still talking about like high school or their early 20s like it was just the fucking best shit. You're like, interesting. Now is the best time. Who is the most important person? I intuitively want to say myself because I'm a selfish prick. I'm just kidding. It's the story goes, it's the person in front of you is the most important person. What's in front of you is the most important person. Who is in front of you? And that bringing that nowness, that stillness, that patience into the moment, right? If I bring that level of stillness and mindfulness in my relationship to the person, if I just pretended like I'm in a conversation with somebody and that is the most important person in the fucking world right now, how does that like change my demeanor? How does that change my patience level if I'm not so eager to get what I need to say in, what I need, me? I think that allows a lot of room for not only that person, but my own heart to feel at ease in that space. Giving that person, I think that, and if I think about what do I want when I'm interacting with somebody, yeah, I want to feel like I'm the most important fucking person they could be talking to, that they wouldn't rather be over there, over here, with somebody else. That they're with me. Not in like a fucking creepy, jealous way, but like, but that this is our moment here. And so the most important thing you can do related to these two things. Hint, it was in the meditation. Care. It's the care. And so the way Ajahn Brahm talks about it is that each of these can easily make up factors of patience. Not trying to speed along any process, being present, and approaching it with this attitude of kindness with care can really help us shift our positioning, stopping from leaning forward into the next moment. Another aspect of patience that came up in the meditation. I don't plan these meditations, just so you know, they just are happening. And this idea of honoring pain, I think is a really important aspect of patience as well. We talk about in Buddhism that we want to get rid of the suffering, and trying to refrain from doing that, like, get rid of the suffering, get rid of it. Being careful not to also do that with our pain. right? Because that's so much of where this suffering arises from. And my own expectations have fucked me over so big time in maintaining a level of quality of life and peace. 10 years sober, fuck, I shouldn't be experiencing that shit. What the fuck? People who have 10 years sober don't experience this kind of pain or this kind of suffering. Says, what? Where is that written? I've not personally seen that. And similarly with our traumas, I think that I would imagine we're all here for some level because of pain. Probably not because we're fucking stoked about life and thought meditation would just be the sprinkles on top. It's our sort of collective pain that makes us human and brings us together. And I think in a lot of my early practice, I expected, after so many years of meditation, that I could just kind of check that off the list. Trauma, relationship issues, addiction, vaping, just slowly everything. And supposedly everything will dissolve, right? But fuck, not on my timeline. And really, it doesn't go away. None of it goes away. The trauma, especially, I think is such an important thing that I have to continue to remind myself and to remember, because that's the thing about this practice is I be forgetting. And that's why the meditation important, mindfulness, I need to remember. Mindful remembering. Reminders. I be forgetting that the trauma doesn't fucking stop. There's not one meditation that happens where it just, we're free from it. We do become free as we learn to relate to it differently, as we learn to be kinder, as we learn to be patient with ourselves. And, I thought through some sort of magical meditation that would be like a scar removal, I guess, maybe. That would be maybe the metaphor here, is that if you get a cut on your leg, a nice chunky cut, right? It's gonna heal, but it's gonna scar. And we live with those emotionally as well. And so I think that's why it's important to honor the pain as stories that we've collectively lived, and that there's nothing wrong with it. But we fucking hate it, don't we? Oh God, we hate it. I'll end with this other little story. It's also about Ajahn Brahm. I love Ajahn Brahm. He tells the story about a time when he was studying under Ajahn Chah. And they had just built a new temple, a new building, a new dwelling in the monastery. And so the result of that is there was all of this extra just earth around, just dirt, piles of dirt everywhere. And so Ajahn Chah gave the direction to the younger monks, and that's one of the things, if anybody has ever fantasized about becoming a monk, I promise you it's a lot of physical labor, more labor than you would think. So if you just think you're going to go sit and meditate, that's maybe, I don't know, 60% of it. The other 40% is physical labor. So, okay, move the dirt over there. And so this is also in Thailand. So Thailand in the rainforest. So it's muggy, it's fucking hot, mosquitoes and bugs and shit. And over 3 days, he moves the dirt. During that 3 days, Ajahn Chah has to go and visit another monastery. And so they finish, and Ajahn Brahm's very, such a relief. Great. I'm gonna wash these robes finally. They're fucking stinky. I'm gonna take a shower. Looking forward to a meditation tomorrow. Good meditation. And the second in command monk approaches them and says, actually, this dirt, it's gonna be better over there. And while that was frustrating to him, he listened and he heard the reasons and thought that was a reasonable explanation and said, okay, fine. So 3 more days, just moving dirt in the wheelbarrow. And Ajahn Chah comes back. He's finally done. He's excited to meditate, wash his robes. It's now been 6 days of moving dirt around, fucking loving the mosquitoes, getting bit. And Ajahn Chah sees the pile of dirt and says, I said the dirt should be over there. And so by this time, Ajahn Brahm has fucking had it. He's pissed. He's like, I want to quit Buddhism. Fuck these older monks. All they do is just sit around and give directions. They don't even help. We're just sitting here sweating our asses off, dying. And they're in Thailand, so he's talking about how he's swearing in English and nobody can understand him, fortunately. And but the energy is felt. The energy is felt, even if maybe not the language is understood. And another monk comes up to him and says, pushing the wheelbarrow isn't that hard. Thinking about pushing the wheelbarrow is pretty hard, though. And I reflect on that. I reflect on even just my own relationship to, I've primarily worked online asynchronously. I don't really, aside from when my child is here, I don't really have to get up and be anywhere at any certain time, or if I have to drop her off at school, I don't gotta be dressed and shit, no. And I'm in my residency and I have to be on the light rail at 7:45. Gotta be there at 8. For me, resistance. I'm fuck, man, I gotta be places at times. That's bullshit. I haven't lived like that in a long time. But I do it, and it's really not that bad. Actually, a little enjoyable, and it's a lot like that, isn't it? It's getting on the light rail at 7:45 in the morning is not that bad. Thinking about getting on the light rail at 7:45 in the morning, fucking bullshit. Don't recommend. And so bringing that into our relationship to patience as well. How much of this can actually just be eased or let go of without the thinking mind's commentary. If we just go out, how many times do we just do the thing and it's really not as bad as we thought? I think that's all I got for today. Any questions or thoughts, comments, reflections?
Given the way you describe patience, how it differs from equanimity?
Very similar, very similar. I often think about that as well because equanimity is actually on this list as well, right? It's the last one on the list.
Spoilers.
Huh?
He says spoilers.
Spoilers. I took patience in a mildly different direction because often when he talks about it in this way, often when he talks about it, he also talks about it in relationship to other people, which is similar to equanimity, right? But the primary factor with equanimity is also bringing in its relationship with karma. I think that's an understated way that equanimity is conceptualized, is that it's more of a harmony where patience, there could still be suffering present, right? There could still be suffering here, but I'm still gonna breathe some space into it. With equanimity, that is total freedom, right, from suffering. And it's also taking much into consideration the relationship between, if someone's not acting right, I'm also recognizing the karmic momentum and fruit that made that spark happen simultaneously. So, does that make sense? It's a tough one. Okay, let us just go ahead and move on to Donna. So Dharma Punx is freely offered. If you would like to donate via Cash App or Venmo, you may do so. John, if you wouldn't mind dropping that into the chat over there. Also, cash donations can go in the bowl. $5 to $10 suggested donation. If you have less, give less. If you have more, give more. Again, this is freely offered, so if you don't got it, don't worry about it. Yep, I think that's it. All right. So at the end of any talk, any goodness that is accumulated is not hoarded. We don't keep it to ourselves. We spread it energetically, I guess, with our laser mind powers. No, I can't do it. Any goodness that arises from this practice may be spread above and below to the seen and the unseen, to those being born and to those who are dying. I hope you all just pew pew.